It's estimated that up to 80% of Ramadi lies in ruins. Around 375,000 people, mostly Sunni Muslims, used to live here before the capital of Anbar province was seized by ISIL fighters. After months of fighting and repeated ISIL counteroffensives, the government announced victory in Ramadi in February 2016. Almost 2.5 years later, reconstruction has barely begun. Iraqis who have returned since then live amongst the rubble and are struggling to rebuild their lives.
More than 1,000 houses were flattened. The rest are almost destroyed. People are trying their best to rebuild their properties, but they don't have enough money. No government official has visited us and listened to our problems. They just came briefly before elections and promised us the same old promises, but nothing happened.
The Iraqi government says large-scale reconstruction across the country hasn't started yet because it doesn't have the money. Almost $90 billion is needed to rebuild after 15 years of war and chaos since the fall of Saddam Hussein in 2003. But Iraq's allies pledged only $30 billion at a donors' conference in Kuwait in February. It's estimated that $22 billion is needed to rebuild Anbar province, including $10 billion for Ramadi alone. Thousands of people live in camps on the outskirts of the city.
We are asking the government to provide us with our missing documents so we can return home and leave the camp. As you can see, we are fasting despite lack of basic needs and services, and we don't even have cold water to break our fast with.
More than 2 million Iraqis are forced to live in camps across Iraq because their homes were destroyed. Analysts say one of the reasons the rise of ISIL happened in cities like Ramadi is because of years of neglect from the Shia-led federal government. They say cities like Ramadi and Mosul were what they describe as incubators for extremist ideas to take root amongst a small percentage of the population. Iraq's Sunnis suffered some of the worst atrocities under ISIL. The United Nations says failure to help Iraq rebuild risks fueling resentment and possibly even violence again. Charles Stratford, Al Jazeera, Baghdad.